Greetings, everyone. This video overview for week 3 is going to come in 2 parts. So part 1 is going to just take you through this week. So we have our course overview video, and then we have the agenda, which is basically a copy paste from the assignment schedule. And this week we are continuing project 1. Now that's our main project. Just keep in mind, we have our main projects and then you have these smaller anchor text tasks. So this week you are continuing those anchor text tasks that you began in week 1. So the focus though is on project 1. This week you have a draft, you're going to post that draft, and you're going to give feedback to your classmates on their drafts. And then from there, you're going to do a couple of other steps, and then you're going to submit your final version of your personal descriptive essay in about a week. So I'm going to scroll on this page. What's due Tuesday? I have listed just a reminder of the model texts that are in the Abrams book that we're using, the online text. I have selected a few examples of model personal essays, descriptive essays that you might want to take a look at. This is a suggestion. There are other examples in there, but these are the ones that I have gravitated towards. Additionally, there are a few other examples of reflective personal memoir-like writing, and you can also check out those. You can ask questions about any of these model texts using the Project 1 thread on Blackboard. Okay, so you need to post your draft. If you click on this link, it'll take you inside the Project 1 posting area. I've given you a quick link to the draft review process. This is essentially the basics of the draft review process that we're using this semester. However, each project may have additional review expectations, but you want to get started by reviewing this general overview. This will take you inside the course documents area where you can review that content. And what's due by Sunday is you having replied to 2 of your classmates. And again, this will take you back inside the same posting area in the discussion forum for project 1. And then this is just a link to remind you, you should be continuing working on those anchor projects and then plan ahead. So that's my quick overview. And for those of you who are good to go, you can stop right at that point. And I will pause here before I give a little more detailed information. All right, so my little more detailed information, I will strongly suggest again that you use these model texts like you are reading like a writer. And if you haven't yet read the Mike Bunn reading from Writing Spaces, this might be a good time to consider it. Or if you have read it, check your notes on it. If I click on the project 1 discussion forum area, so it'll take me inside and there's one area, you will hit the reply button and then post your draft. Remember, it needs to be in a Word document so that people can open it. If you are chancing and using Google Docs, you need to make sure you know how to set the permissions so it's accessible to anyone with the link. Now in this area, I do want to point out that the peer review process documents from the course documents section, I have given a link here. I think I've given this link a couple of times. No, this is specifically for project 1. So if we click on that document and open it, which I'm going to do here. So this document is actually a little more detailed than what you have just for our general peer review. Because as I said, we have our general sort of approach, and then for each project, there may be additional information for giving feedback. So that's what this document is. Of course, if you are in an online class, you may not be able to do everything that's listed on this peer review sheet for project one. However, you can consider these questions, which I strongly suggest you consider these questions before you post your draft. You are free to give additional information about these questions. And then when we get to the actual workshop part, so during the workshop session, what I'm saying that you may not be able to do is the read out loud part. If you're in the online course, we don't do the read out loud part. So option one is not for you, but option two is. So these questions actually help you give feedback on this writing task that is grounded by the content in chapters 1, 2, and 3 on description, narration, and reflection. That's the type of feedback you want. Anyway, there it says discussion. Remember, if you're in my online class, or if you're just in the written portion of giving feedback, you want to be as detailed as possible. So here's some other additional ideas for how to structure and give feedback. And you also may want to take a look at I call them exemplars here, but that's the same thing as the model text. So this is an additional information about giving feedback for project one, description, narration, and reflection. So that I wanted to point out. And then the review process here, this is the general review process that we're using. So once you post your draft here by the due date, and there is another due date in which you will come here, download your peers' drafts, and then make your comments written on their drafts and repost. So that is my more detailed overview for project one, the peer review session. And I'm just going to click on this link here to take us into the general peer review process and remind you that you are expected to give feedback even if you don't post your draft. You get points for delivering feedback. I also say if you do not post your draft, there is a way to still get some feedback. It will not be peer review, but it will require you to spend more time figuring out your schedule. So you want to check that information out about getting feedback from a GRCC tutor. I also strongly encourage you to get feedback from your instructor. So I'm here during office hours. You can make appointments, but you do need to plan ahead for that. So that's what we're doing this week. So by the end of this week, you will go and post your 2 completed reviews for 2 people in your class. And then plan ahead, because usually after the week of peer review, usually the final version is due. And also the draft review memo, that's another item, but you can't complete those things until you have participated in the peer review. So that is the end of my longer comments for this week.